Now then, Matt, what can World of Warcraft learn from Elden Ring?
Don't even have the energy
Leave
for this.
me.
Jesus.
This is going somewhere.
Yeah, it is. So this is going to
Twitter. That's where it's going.
it's going to Twitter. So yep. Let me just pull up the doc here. Yeah, so as I said, the best game World of Warcraft could learn from story-wise is Elden Ring. Because everyone talks about the feeling they had playing vanilla and TBC, and even Wrath to an extent.
Yeah.
I think it was mostly strongest in vanilla and TBC, but the idea of just exploration, of wonder, of feeling like you're on an adventure, of having that sense of time pass, of, that feeling of what I probably would call childhood joy, whenever you're like, I don't know shit, I'm gonna look, how's that work? Oh, it works. Whoa, sick. And that's something that I've gotten really, really heavily from Elden Ring. And obviously based on the fact that it's the breakout hit of the forever and is destroying all other video games that are currently for sale. I think that's the case of, I think other people largely agree.
Yeah.
You could argue sales based on hype, etc., but exceptional for that sense of exploration, that sense of wonder, and the story. The story that isn't, here's an A plot, because the A plot of Elden Ring is incomprehensible. It makes sense to a degree, but it's like, you don't get railroaded through a plot. You land, and it does a better job than some of the Dark Souls games do, for sure, cinematics, but it's mostly just like, this is insane. This is actually wild. I don't know what's happening, but I can piece it together.
Yeah.
Because I'm walking around, I don't have anything anywhere, I don't know what's going on, please help. And then I go, well, instead of help, maybe I should just walk around. And then you walk around for 100 hours and learn everything, and it's fantastic. So, like, the Rani quest experience this is like a main quest of the game, like an important part that leads towards one of the possible endings in a very Souls way. And I have never felt like I've quested so hard in a video game in my life. Like, whenever you show up in a new zone in vanilla and you don't know where the quests are, but you find a town and then someone sends you on like this like quest chain, there's like 8 quests, and you blink, you've been there for 8 hours.
Yeah.
You've crossed the entire zone, you've killed loads of dudes. You've probably tricked a bunch of centaur into stealing the royal, something like that. It was like, whoa, where'd the time go? I learned so much. Oh, that was like, and you just end up in your head framing it like it was like a fantasy novel, or like, you've just watched 15 episodes of Legend of the Seeker, but you've played it. And you're like, well, this is really, really cool. That's what the Rani quest was like. I was constantly surprised, constantly going to new places, like, what's this? But it wasn't a quest. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't like following markers. I was like, someone's like, yeah, something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was basically talking about like going to a specific place and getting something. And it was literally just go get the thing from place. And I was like, well, I don't know where that place is. All right, time to figure out. And I walked around and I followed context clues. I was like, oh, that's where that is. Okay. Went into this deep dungeon, did all this incredible stuff. Had no idea what was happening. All these mobs is like, why are these enemies here? Why are these enemies here? What's going on? Oh, this boss is really cool. Why is this boss here? Finding the quest at the quest end, going, I don't know what this quest item is, but I've got it now. Brought it back, and then that sparked another entire section of adventure. It was like, no, I have another thing to do. I don't know what's happening, please. And it was just so enjoyable overall. It was like full questing experience. And most of that was because I wasn't following a UI marker. I wasn't, just doing it. I wasn't doing a quest. I was doing a thing in the world.
Actually exploring.
Yeah, I was like, doing a thing in the world. It was completely insane. And then like, it's just the fact that you're in the world and living in it, and it's doing wild stuff like the random sending gates and teleport chests you run into, where you will go to you'll see a sending gate, you're like, where's this going to send me? Whoa, what's this? And you have no idea where you're going. Obviously in Elden Ring you can just go back to where you were, unless it locks you out. But it was just this incredible, like, whoa, this world is so big. And that's something you lose if you have a world map that's fully explored, or like a small map that's like really tightly designed. You lose that, as opposed to a massive map. There's all the environmental storytelling of like, no, you don't get big loads of text exposition. You have things that happen in the world. You're like, well, why are these enemies here? It's like almost like the first time you see like corrupted furbolgs and stuff in WoW. You're like,
you actually think?
Yeah, you're like, corrupted furbolgs. Why are they corrupted? What's around here? And you see all like the I can't remember what corrupts the fur bulks, just all the demony stuff around the place. All that stuff was just incredible to me, honestly. How NPCs are characters in the world as opposed to instruments of gameplay. How there's no guidance, it's just pure exploration driven. And this had me thinking about vanilla, because vanilla is obviously, that's what vanilla felt like, and felt like. That's the important part. The important part is felt like, because the thing that I experienced was, when did I last feel this way? Oh, World of Warcraft vanilla, okay, exceptional. Why? And obviously I tweeted that, and then people were like, well, vanilla wasn't good. You know, how does vanilla feel like an adventure? The storytelling was bad. There's no voiceover, no events, no storytelling. Just a bunch of text and 20 bare asses. People obviously laugh about the bare asses, that's never good storytelling. Unless someone's doing, like, you know, an NPC is having you do it for a laugh. That's maybe a good story. But it's like the other, like that, and then the idea that no one enjoyed that in vanilla. Everyone just was, you know, downloading Carbonite. The nostalgia's all like, no, the game was bad. The game was bad, but the game was terrible, but the experience was good. And that's the thing. I think Elden Ring's a great game, but like from the perspective of, you know, someone who's in for that experience of do the quests, it's probably pretty bad because it's confusing and aggravating. But Vanilla's experience was great. The content was shit, but the experience was great.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing Classic WoW, I think, taught people. Unless you could very accurately relive that experience or relive a different kind of experience, which the content allowed you to do in terms of like Barney Scarblord adventures or, you know, guilds trying to do cool things and step out of that. That stuff was like really, that stuff was possible, but the actual content as most people experienced it was bad because they played it like World of Warcraft. Because they were expecting to play it like World of Warcraft and that magic wasn't possibly there. But what I was kind of getting to was that I think they could remake that. I think they could actually genuinely do that again, but it would require a substantial amount of bravery. It would be it would be the most insane thing they've ever done.
Yes, this would be insane.
But I think they could do it. I genuinely think
I think it would actually fit. To be honest with you, I think it would fit what they're stronger at.
Yeah.
Frankly, because they're not good at storytelling.
Yeah, so
they're good at lore hinting, and I suppose if they can maybe orient themselves towards that, and make that a better experience, then okay, so right.
Yeah, I would not say this if I didn't think they could do it.
Okay, well, let's go. How are you going to kill World of Warcraft, Matt? How are you going to destroy it?
Yeah, so just make a zone, right?
Okay, right. They can do that. Step one.
They've done it with Zerath Mortis. So, make Zerath Mortis. Don't put it in the PTR.
Good.
Tie it really closely into the expansion themes, which they tried to do with the B-plot stuff of Shadowlands, and it worked out okay, because I was like, Zerath Mortis, yeah, Enlightened, yeah, I know the Brokers, I know Frames off and Adventure, stuff like that, and I know the first one, so that kind of worked okay. So I was like, I think those are the important part is not putting in the PTR. And it's all about training players to experience it the way you want them to experience it. Instead of this, we have to have all these, you know, I don't want to say accessibility because that's the kind of thing where I think accessibility and in certain ways can impact the experience negatively. Whereas like if people can't find, I think the 3D objective tracker is a pretty good example, where if people can't find the quest, they need an objective tracker. But with the objective tracker, it turns it into go where the arrow points you.
Yeah, it's
anyone who's
you're
played
not navigating the game space. You're not playing in a way. You're not playing the game.
Yeah, you're in the matrix.
You're railroading yourself sort of straight in.
Yeah, you're in the matrix doing what the programming is telling you to do.
Oh,
the world is just the world is just a bunch of code, and you just follow the arrow. The world is the arrow. That's all it is. The world is just the arrow in this case. So if you turn off any objective tracking whatsoever, you send players there on a breadcrumb, you give them no guidance, say, here, explore. Just the NPC will go, hey dude, go look around for stuff. This is the kind of stuff you're looking for. They could do some guidance because obviously you can't just click things in World of Warcraft. They need to be clickable. So you go, hey, look for this, or look for stuff like this. You just walk around and do this stuff like that. It's completely... it's just all about telling players to engage with it in the way they want to engage with it, that they wanted to in the past. And I think that's a case of, untrackable objectives, small side quests that don't appear on your map, so you have to look for them, and you have to intelligently look for them, where you don't just run around waiting for it to be on your minimap. You go around the corner, and you go, well, what's that? Oh, that's a town. I'll go to the town. And the town has people in it, and they have quests. I feel like that's the experience they could probably actually imitate. And then you could fill it full of zone-specific items for a power curve in there, so you can feel satisfied. You can make an achievement with no visible tracking, so it's just this mystical 3 question marks. Once you do it, you get a title. Aspirational, all that stuff. The more I'm talking about, the more I think it's impossible, but I'm definitely, I still think I think it's worth them trying.
Maybe the best way to do it would be some sort of test zone for the idea.
Yeah.
I like the idea of changing it up.
Yeah.
I think it's tricky because big A-plot moments are like super marketable things for like a community to rally behind. I like how Elden Ring just shows like you can have a completely enrapture or enchanting whatever, an completely enchanting world and not really have any of that.
Yeah.
The best feeling of being in a WoW zone is this, even gameplay wise, when you're going to do a daily, but you bump into, and you're not looking for it, but you bump into a rare, a few treasures, do a few things on your way. That's when the game feels good, because you're just like out there in the world doing shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to think of like what's the sort of story they would tell through this.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
But I am down for more. Just not. I don't know. Just not like reduced into the general kind of often a bit brain dead feeling WoW quest flow.
Yeah, so
it could be real. Yeah.
This is the thing where it's going to be difficult for them because obviously there's a lot of people in chat saying it sounds like a pain in the ass. Yes, by design. By design, it is a pain in the ass. By design, if you want to get your questing experience done real handy and quick, this is not for you.
And that's why it would be absolutely hated. Because we're all playing, here's the thing, we're MMO players. We play these games for the wrong reason in a way. In that you're talking about this as somebody who intrinsically enjoys video games and wants a strong fantasy that you can get lost in and a really great game experience that you remember. That is absolutely not what MMO gamers are looking for in this day and age. What MMO gamers want is they want bars to fill, they want progress to be made, and I think that's absolutely a problem the genre's created for itself.
Yep. Well, this is the thing. This is the thing that I think makes this possible, makes it brave, and makes it potentially one of the smartest things they could do. It could also be a massive waste of resources. It could be. It needs to be a relatively small zone, right? And it needs to be often, basically you need 20,000 prompts on your way that this is the point of this experience. Almost in the same way, you're going into imagine you go into a mythic and it just goes, listen, dude, this is hard. Don't come in here if you're expecting an easy time. This is going to kick your ass. Or, the same for it's kind of the same they've done for Jareth Mortis, where it's like, for player power, you don't have to engage with it all at heart. I mean, obviously you do you need revered. You have the freedom of legendary slot, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But it's a case of just you need to tell players this. You need to make it a small experiment, and you need to make it very clear that listen, this is not for everyone. This is for people who want to try this experience. You're disqualified if you just want to run Mythic Plus.
So then it needs. But
that's
to be
the point
themed.
Of the horizontal stuff. Yeah.
Like if you were to basically make a archaeology zone, a League of Explorers zone, that's exactly one theme. There's other themes that could exist, and it's overtly a piece of side content that's a thing you can go and do, but it's 100% framed that way, and that is the fantasy.
Yep.
Doing it like that, I'm 100% down for.
Yeah.
I think if this was ever like a part of the main quest flow for leveling up in a new expansion, then people would be. There would be anger. But if this can actually, frankly, be a wholly new form of open world content.
That is exactly what I want this to be positioned as an idea. I want it to be, this is archaeology, but you don't get any bonuses. If you understand the zone entirely, you feel happy and get a title. But it's like, you need to 100% this. And you need to be told 400 times, don't fuck this up for yourself. And they need protections against add-ons. And they need protections against data mining. So this should not be in the PTR. This should be dropped immediately. Because one of the things that I think is important is that, how do I put it? It's a lot of the problem with exploring new patch content like Zereth Mortis is, it's not that Zereth Mortis is like, it's not that, well, it's mostly that Handy Notes is available day one because they go to the effort of going to PTR to find everything.
Yeah.
Then you log in, it's like, zone solved. But if you have this solved, if you have this unsolved, unsolvable, literally unsolvable immediately, then you might have that gold rush of people going, what's the new zone? We'll go there. Oh, this is frustrating. Fuck this. I'm hearthing back out. Good thing I don't need to do it. Only idiots do that. But then if you have 20% of your player base really love it, then you can grow that. And that's an example of horizontal content. And they need it. They need horizontal content. And I think
that is the massive lesson of all of this.
Yeah.
Like, we cannot... there's a video coming out tomorrow on like the things that WoW can learn from FF.
Yeah.
And I think the FF people, it might feel like a bit too much of a WoW focused video. So maybe it would have made more sense on this channel. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's going up the other channel tomorrow anyway.
Yeah.
But that's like so much to the point. It's like, if we design everything around gearing and it's all about gearing, it's like what gets measured gets managed.
Yeah.
And the whole game gets like turned into this thing about gear. And we kind of forget about going horizontal.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing that's important.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying is, like, playing Elden Ring, I think is possible. I think it's possible because it's proved it's possible in modern gaming to an extent. It's proven that there's a lot of players who will play the likes of Horizon Forbidden West and go, oh, that's pretty good. Then they'll go play Elden Ring and go, oh, what is this? Oh,
I've
what
had a religious experience.
Yeah, almost exactly. Like, what do you mean video games could be this? This is like fucking playing, this is like playing Link to the Past. This is like playing the original Legend of Zelda where I had no idea what was happening. And it was an awful experience, but I also loved it.
Imagine this is wasn't an anecdote. I think I brought up in a conversation with you a few days ago. That thing of like, yeah, what if you're playing Link to the Past and you have a little quest log and objective markers?
It's really,
Game's dead.
Yeah.
Game's stone dead.
Yeah.
And like, if you think about the inspirations of Zelda, wasn't it? Oh my God, your man, big gamer. Big gamer, man.
This I know him.
Your man.
Know him well.
Oh my God, help! Please help
Who
me.
are you talking about?
The big man, the big man who made the Zelda. Zelda man.
No. I can't remember the director.
He was talking about like,
thinking
of, being. Or wait, am I getting?
You're thinking of Shigeru Miyamoto of Mario, right?
I don't know.
For the shrine exploration. Or what are you talking about?
You know, that one does fit.
Yeah,
maybe I've lost my marbles. It was something about Zelda and like it was about capturing the feeling of exploration. But now there is the Miyamoto shrine thing as well. But
Eiji Onuma was Eiji Onuma.
Yeah, like just the feel like Zelda would have been so different if it was just, here you go.
Yeah, Onuma, yeah.
Here's something for your goopy gamer brain.
Yeah, that's the thing where like there's an entire world of exploration that video games could be and should be, but they're not. And I think that is a valid option for how to make content. It works. World of Warcraft was beloved because it did that really, really well. Almost accidentally, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, especially, the MMOification of the games were happening at that time. So maybe they actually did push that and it was like a complete accident because they just made a massive world. And that it was accidental because they didn't have quality of life features. But if you remove quality of life features and that makes a game that people enjoy more, then hang on a second. What life is getting the quality? Mm-hmm. Is it all about speedrunning a game now? It's all about getting to the end? Is it about pointing towards the objective marker, hitting auto run and alt tabbing? Is that what you want your World of Warcraft to be? That's efficient because you get to browse Twitter. But would you rather be, leaning into the screen looking to see if there's something on the top of the mountain? Also, the Wowhead invalidates all this. And this was another thing I was going to talk about in this stream, but I decided not to and save it for later because I knew it would run on a bit long. But the World of Warcraft developers know Wowhead exists, and they factor that in, be it out of convenience or be it because they know it's the inevitable. They shouldn't. because
Yes, 100%.
that completely destroys the experience for people who don't read WoW.
Yeah, it's like if you make the lore for me and Pyromancer and Akalon to fucking do tinfoil, it's like, sure, it can make for, me and Jared having a really good conversation when we're talking about lore and videos and stuff. But if that's who you make and I'm not really saying that's who they're making the lore for, but they evidently follow the lore speculation scene existing. It's like, if that's who you make the lore for, what is it like for the average person just playing the game and, just taking what they're given?
They get nothing.
Yeah. Like, the lot of us should be so much less important because the story itself is there and is great. You don't need to go to some fucking YouTubers to work out what's going on. And I wonder, like, is that part of why there's not as... I know there is a lore scene in FF, but it's not as massive.
Yeah, that's definitely the reason.
People are like, well, we know the lore. We know the story. It's here. It's in the game. We love it. That's that.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a version of this where lore YouTubers are still really, really valid and valuable and cool and make money, please. But, Elden Ring and the whole Soul series, I mean, Vati had an entire channel. I mean, obviously there's a lot of gameplay overlap as well with a lot of them, but there's so many channels doing Soul stuff because there's so much to digest. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to, like, spring together. And you can go to that as like I'm not going to engage the lore, I'm going to read the watch this instead. And that's possible. But, like, to me as a player, it's always been very supplementary. It's always been, oh, I wonder if there's another take on this quest. I wonder if there's something I missed after 100 hours. Is there something I haven't thought about in terms of connection from this to, like, one of the previous games in the series? And yeah, there's a dude who's done nothing but Dark Souls 1 for years. Yeah. Because there's just so much lore in that game. And that's it. There's almost no story. Like, the first thing that happens in Dark Souls, and this is definitely insane, like, you land, you have no idea where to go. Some dude in a really condescending tone tells you about 2 bells you have to ring.
Yeah.
That's it. Then you're like, well, where do I go now? I guess I'll go around and do stuff. And then you go into the graveyard and die and don't play the game for 6 months, like most people did. Or you go the right way up to the Undead Burg, and then you're just like constantly like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? What's this? Oh, okay, I'm now in a forest. This forest is scary. I'm going to go back upstairs. Oh, I'm getting inside the church, and now I've been killed. Where do I go? Fuck. I guess I'll figure something out. And that's the experience you could... There's nothing discounting that experience from existing in World of Warcraft as horizontal content. It just needs Blizzard to actually man up and say, listen, motherfuckers, play the game the way we tell you to play the game. And that's going to be... Not for everyone. If you are... they could go for the old Wolfenstein style of difficulty and just go, you're too pansy for this zone. I don't think they would do that.
No.
But it's because of, hey, this is for people who want to have a relaxed time and kind of pick out things about the zone. And this isn't going to handhold you. You're going to have to look around and think and pay attention to stuff. Go for it.
I 100% agree.
Yep.
We need to just start being daring. Evolution.
Yeah.
Evolution needs to happen.
Yeah, be brave.
Yeah, instead of just like, what's the latest zone that can be turned into just a bunch of guides and WoW and a bunch of articles, and there you go.
Yep.
Because that ultimately turns them all into the same thing.
Yep.
So I wonder. And by the way, none of this is to talk shade in Wowhead or anything like that.
No,
we're just purely talking, because if Wowhead wasn't there, the game would be pretty messy. We're just talking about, like, how do we construct zones and
yeah,
what could WoW do?